Friends, welcome to Holy Trinity Catholic Church, where we believe, we become, and we belong. We continue the joy of Easter on this third Sunday of Easter as Jesus invites us to feed, to tend, and to shepherd. Imagine you are at your workplace and you have deadlines to catch up to, and you have only a certain time, and you want to spend whole night trying to accomplish the job, and by morning you want to have the result. But something crashed, something technical error happened, and all your work has been destroyed. Jesus says to Peter, Lord, we tried all night but caught nothing. The gospel reading for this third Sunday of Easter contains quite a lot of identifications of who Jesus is for the disciples. The one whom Jesus loved said, "It is the Lord." Then begins Peter's conversion, Peter's immersion, and Peter's mission. The apostolic witness of leadership and service in the church done by various ministries in the church, global and local, is the example for us to witness the presence of Christ. The providential care of the flock is not only given to the ordained, but it is the responsibility of every baptized to feed, to tend, and to shepherd. And that begins in our families. In our world today, where we experience and witness a lot more of dehumanizing poverty, violence, war, exploitation, the vulnerable face a lot of challenges. We are judged by the character and the mission that we embrace and live as the church, to feed, to tend, and to shepherd. And this feeding and tending and shepherding begins in our preaching and teaching. The apostles have definitely gone over and beyond what they have experienced while they were with Jesus, intimidated, later on fearful, but now they are going into the world with a powerful message. If Jesus Christ was not risen from the dead, they wouldn't have the strength to preach and to teach. So the resurrection of Christ compels them, illuminated their lives and their aspirations. Now they are able to see the power of the word and the power of the light to feed, to tend, and to shepherd. In our world today, around us, we see this trend a lot. Our religious convictions, aspirations, seem to be floundering and even languishing. The rapid pace of social change and media, culture, causing many to relinquish any sense of religious purpose. And we see this so rapidly happening in our society. How many find themselves disassociated with the faith, with the church, with religion? A greater need for today, for religion, for culture, and for all of us families is to live the baptismal responsibilities like the early Christians. In doing so, we are able to tend, we are able to feed, and we are able to shepherd. Like the early apostles, like the early Christian communities, sometimes we might find ourselves trying all night but catching nothing. But when we listen to the Lord, when we identify the Lord and saying it is the Lord gives us new direction, new sense of purpose to cast on nets. And imagine, and you won't believe, as it happened with Peter and the apostles, the net will begin to tear for the catch. So when we are disappointed, disillusioned, disgusted, discouraged for having worked all night and achieved no result, caught nothing, let us look at the apostles and the early Christians who were witnesses, but they were also martyrs. A martyr is a witness. A martyr is not so much who dies for faith, because the one who looks completely, even in the works that he or she does, he or she is preparing for death. The apostles rejoiced because they proclaimed the good news and found worthy to face persecutions for the sake of Jesus. So they were witnesses. At the same time, they became martyrs for the faith. And second reading for this Sunday attests to this fact. The Lamb who is exalted is also the Lamb who is slain. In being slain, the Lamb is exalted. So, like the early apostles and Christians, we have the opportunity to preach and to teach, living our baptismal calling, but that demands to be a witness, even to be a martyr. In these times, in these cultures. In the Gospel, Peter is told that, like his master, he will pay for his commitment as he feeds, as he tends, and as he shepherds. And that happened to him in that responsibility of catching people, in feeding, in tending, in shepherding. The presence of risen Christ is loudly announced by the martyrs and witnesses. And that needs to happen today, as the mission of the universal church is given to every baptized to feed, to tend, and to shepherd, and of course given at a greater degree to those ordained bishops, priests, and the clergy. We see men, women, priests, bishops, when we all truly live our baptismal calling and vocation fully, we are able to live those promises. We begin to teach and to preach. We begin to become a witness and a martyr in feeding, in tending, and in shepherding the sheep. What price are we willing to pay? What price am I willing to pay to grow in this conviction and aspiration to feed, to tend, and to shepherd? Father Praveen Lakisetti, here at Holy Trinity Catholic Church in San Antonio, Texas. Thank you, and God bless.